Or you can turn on your
25.
virtual camera. Seriously.
All right, change it to SPY.
Okay, I think we're ready. So, okay.
Oh, it's live. I can hear the audio. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
I hear you. All right.
Well, no,
7 minutes late.
the stream is hearing us.
Okay, we live then. I wonder how long that was.
Just a tiny bit, I guess. I don't know.
Sorry, fellas. A little bit of technical difficulty today.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Introduce us, Sensei Hove.
Sorry, guys. It's a little slow, but you know who we are. The Transform Trading Team. You got myself, Hove, Toots, and Monty with you. We've been dealing with some back-end issues. I don't know. First, it was my password for Zoom wasn't working, so I tried to reset it, and then it still wasn't working, so then it locked me out. And then we had the sound technical issues on the back end. So
I just want to say it was Hove and Monty who had issues, not me.
and these two like Uncle Toot.
Yeah, these two like to bully me and call me grandpa. So
it's not my fault that Zoom wasn't working.
Oh, okay. Grandpa Hove.
I went to the website, changed it. There said confirmed password.
And then we changed nothing and you just magically got in.
Oh, that was the password one. Yeah. That was my fault.
Oh, yeah. Passcode. Anyway.
All right. So since we had some sound issues, technical issues on the back end, how are we sounding to you guys? Does anybody sound low? Does anybody sound too high? Let us know, and let us know what the stream is looking like as well in the comments. Monty,
nothing, and you just
the back end of YouTube.
Yeah. So we can interact with the boys.
I sent it to us in the admin room.
What?
Oh, you want the actual?
Oh, you did. You studio? Did. Is that? Yeah, the studio.
Yeah, the studio.
Sorry,
right,
guys.
James says
we use that
can hear us fine.
No one sounds messed up. No one's lower than anyone.
That's nice.
There's the link.
There we go.
Have you started sharing yet, Hove?
Yeah, I think so. You should be able to see my Bitcoin chart.
Nope. I had Toots up now.
I see. We're still looks like we're still getting the disclaimer on the.
Yep, we're good now though.
Cool.
Just so you know, I'm on another phone call, my other ear, guys. So multitasking at its finest right now.
All right, guys. So I guess we'll just jump into what we normally talk about in these, which is the most important charts in our lives, S&P 500 and, of course, Bitcoin. I guess there's a little bit of news going on right now that affects at least one of those two charts, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since our last live stream, and a lot has happened since then with the whole FTX debacle. That was unexpected, to say the least. I thought that FTX, and I think most people thought this way, was right in line with Coinbase in like being straight up, and apparently that was not the case, as we all found out.
I'll tell you, I haven't been into the shitcoin game in a while, and seriously. And I remember seeing the first time I heard about FTX, this is how head in the sand I am sometimes, was when I saw Tom Brady on the Super Bowl doing a commercial. I was like, I guess there's another credible crypto exchange other than Coinbase, because,
Wait, you never heard of FTX before that?
And yeah, no. I mean, it wasn't the last Super Bowl, it was the one before that, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've watched the last couple of Super Bowls, so I don't know when the Tom Brady ads were. I thought it was just this last one. And I was like, damn.
Maybe it was this last one. To be honest with you, I never traded there, luckily, knock on wood. Not it, yeah. So why would I, I don't know about them. They haven't spammed me in my Twitter DMs to partner up like so many others. So
Man, it's crazy. But fortunately, I think most everybody in our group it didn't get caught in that. I think there were a couple people that traded on FTX, but we kind of warned them early, and they got out. All but one.
Thank God.
And
Yeah.
and the one that didn't get out got out early and then put the money back.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh no, why would you do that? But
I just
I
asked
think
him yesterday if there was any update or anything from the company. He was like, not a damn thing. He's afraid to even access the app now because apparently there was some sort of, I don't know. I don't pay attention to the news, but apparently bad things have happened. You know what's funny is I don't pay attention to the news at all, so I don't really know what's going on with the story, but I have since this happened. I watched that movie Margin Call and I watched Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, you got to like that one anyway, but
I mean, it's wild what was coming out. I was listening to a couple of the spaces that were going on. There was one space from a guy named Mario that had like 35,000 people on at one time. When
I listened to that one too. You posted it in the Discord.
yeah, it was wild. It's so crazy how shady they ended up being, and then everything that happened behind the scenes and all the
Yeah, I only caught the end of it, so I didn't get anything good like that. It was just like, we hope you get your money back. Bye. That's what I heard.
Yeah. I think most people are screwed. I mean, even if people do
Unlucky.
get money, consider it like Mount Gox. Like that's what 10 years ago now, almost.
Yes.
And
Litigation
still
takes
haven't-
so long. It
Was Mount
sucks.
Gox an actual? Did Mount Gox get hacked?
Mount Gox was, it was a hack, and then there was some shady stuff.
But then they just
on.
froze all the funds. At least now it's like, sounds like FTX is just like getting picked by the vultures. Like the Bahamians are stealing it, the hackers are stealing it. It's like,
I mean, we'll use stealing in quotes because I feel like there's even more shady stuff going on, but that's neither here nor there. We are here to look at the charts and see where we're going to go. I guess we'll jump into that now.
I will say this. So my macro perspective on Bitcoin remains intact, remains the same because the chart has not changed, right? This hasn't affected the chart, right? So as far as it hasn't affected the chart in that it has deviated from the probable course of action that we think it's going to take. At least I've thought it's going to take. So that being said, it is typical for something like this to happen more towards the beginning of a bear in crypto like this, like the Mt. Gox or, BitConnect.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you want to, I mean, we had Do Kwon's, whatever happened with him back at the beginning, which was sort of what I figured was the BitConnect of this bear, but who knows? I don't know what the impact of this is going to be. I've not personally felt less confident in TA over FA than I do now based on, what we've seen happen. This is the, biggest financial fraud in history. So that's just my personal expectation. Hey, Erie, what's up, man?
Not much. Just made it in.
Nice.
Well, we're just getting to the good stuff. Just getting to the charts.
Just like we always say. I mean, I rarely ever look at FA or news to determine price action on a chart. I just take whatever the market data shows me and project from there and try to figure out what's going on. I mean, like you said, we're looking at the chart and we've been aiming for this level for months now, and it still hasn't even gotten to the level that we've been aiming for. So this news isn't really changing my outlook too much. And I guess that's kind of a spoiler for the rest of the stream. But I mean, this happens all the time. We'll see our Elliott wave count or whatever we're projecting for certain areas, and we'll get all the reply guys saying, oh, it's never going to happen. And then it happens. And then those reply guys go from, well, it's because of this news came out. You couldn't predict that. It's like, dude, Come on. When are you ever going to give us credit for anything?
Yeah. Plus, we're not trying to
Never.
predict. It's not like we're predicting anything. We're just, giving a probable potential, right? So
Yeah. And that's something like I always try to stress when charting or posting something for the guys, or even on Twitter or on YouTube, is like when it comes to Elliott Wave, I'm literally going through the checklist of what it looks like, what the rules and guidelines are, and what is, out of what I've found on the chart, what is the highest probability at the time. And I'll post the highest probability outcome. If that's wrong, then I'll go to the next highest probability outcome, because at the end of the day, we're traders and we trade off probabilities. So obviously I'm going to go with the highest probability outcome and then go down the line from there. It can be anything at any time, but with new price action, we're adjusting those counts based off of what we've seen from the market. So,
and we're going to be wrong all the time. But, and with this potential news out, not potential, with this news out here, I feel the potential that it could rug pull any ideas we have, more now than ever. But you would think that if it was going to rug pull, it would have happened. So,
yeah, I mean, there is a ton of fear right now. I mean, I had my dad send a nice chunk of change to Coinbase just a few days before FTX collapsed because I was going to trade it for him. He just retired and sold his house and got a fat chunk of change. And I was like, hey, dude, send some money. I'll set up the API and I'll trade it for you. And like a couple days later, he's like, I'm pulling my money out of Coinbase. Like they're going to stop withdrawals and all this. I was like, all right, dude, do whatever you want. I don't want to be.
At least you didn't have him send it to FTX.
Yeah, for sure. That would have never happened.
Yeah, that's ballsy. Like if my dad asked me advice, I'm always just tell him like, look, this is what I just did, but I'm not telling you to do anything because I don't know about your relationship with your dad, but if I lost him a penny, yeah, I'm gonna get slapped in the mouth.
Oh no, that's why I said when he said I'm withdrawing it, I was like, dude, do what you want. I don't want to be responsible. But
son, I'm going back to work.
Yeah. It wasn't that much for him. Like it was, if he lost it, he'd be like, oh, fuck. But sorry for my language. He would definitely not be pumped about it, but it wouldn't hurt him in the long run, to be honest.
Right.
But it just shows the fear of everybody out there. Like people think
market's not capitulating.
No, not yet, at least.
And yeah, not yet, at least. That's definitely a stipulation. Not yet. And what's crazy about it is, man, it's just hard to read, man, right now. Yeah. Do you want to get into what you're thinking off the local? Well, I guess we're at the local lows, but you know what I mean? Maybe off the pivot from, let's say back in June.
Back in June.
Which is basically like, I can't see your chart big. Wait, I should be able to see your chart. I'm looking in the wrong spot.
Whose chart is on the live stream right now?
Yours.
Oh, okay. Back in June, so that was the pivot low where I have my 3 right here at 17.5, 17.6. Man, it's really tough. And I've posted this chart a couple times on Twitter. And I don't know whether we had a expanded flat going in here or this is ABC, because it's still channeling like it could be a corrective. But it definitely looks like 5 waves to me. Well, 1, 2, 3, and now we've broken the low and it's going to be a 5th. But in that regards, like we've been looking for this 14.6 to 13.2-ish since that whole time, basically since June. We've always been in the idea that $15,000 to $13,000 level is going to hit, and that's where my dollar cost averaging level 2 is. And I still see that happening. Now, a couple of times I've posted where we could get that real bad capitulation candle down to 10, maybe even sub 10 to where my dollar cost average of 3 is, or yeah. And that could easily happen, especially if the ES nukes at the same time that we're nuking. But this is that first area where I'm looking to buy a bit more spot. But when I look at the micro, it's a little unclear here to whether this is some larger triangle. Because when we look at the CME, I don't have it as a giant triangle. If it is a triangle, I have it as a combo with a triangle Y, and then we're breaking down. We got this perfect 618 rejection here. So if we do get that follow through, I'm gonna I'm gonna go with this as my primary account. But when I look at spot, it kind of looks triangular, but none of it really fits. Like if that's
it's not quite the right ratio. It's not quite. Nothing looks very good.
So
which means it's a triangle.
Yeah, I mean this is trash. If that's A, B, C, and then D is here,
D, E, A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah, it looks really bad. But I think this is the overall count as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2. We finished that third, and we still got a couple fifths in. Once these get put in, I think once we finally get to this level, we're not going to see these big bounces for fourths. I think just like other times, it's just going to give you a little bounce. It keeps
getting weaker and weaker.
Exactly. And then we'll finally get that capitulation where it nukes pretty hard. But if it doesn't nuke out of here, I'm actually falling back to, where is that? Let me find the right chart. Not falling back. I got so many, sorry. Where the hell did that chart go?
My OCD is not happy with you right now.
All right. Well, I can't find the chart, but the idea is that this is still corrective here, and we'll end up getting one more pump up to this 18,000, maybe 19,000. Well, I'll say like 18.5. So this would be that A, and then some form of weird correction to the B, and then up here before we finally nuke. It looks weak, but there really hasn't been much follow through right here yet. That could change when we take a look at the ES or SPY or SPX in a little, because I have some thoughts there too. But for me, actually, let me pull. Damn it, this Zoom thing is in the way.
Just put the little green arrow on the green part and click the little arrow. It'll put it to the bottom of your screen.
There we go. Perfect. Let me pull over Ethereum, because Ethereum looks way more like a triangle than Bitcoin does. Look at that thing. That looks like a perfect triangle. So
they broke to the downside.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and it looks like it's going to give us some extension too, because that doesn't look complete to me.
Oh yeah. This looks like it's starting to ramp
1, 2,
up.
1, 2.
Yeah, there was that first leg that broke down in 5. I was looking at it for a potential short this morning, and A, forgot about it, but B, it never even got deep enough, and then it legged down again. Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, when we look back at CME, this does look pretty good. I mean, you get that rejection for the 1, or the 1 comes down, and then you get a perfect rejection at that 618. And now it's selling off.
Plus, it swept those highs too for anybody who put a stop there.
Yeah,
it didn't have enough momentum to fill the gap, which is pretty bearish to me.
Yeah, I mean,
just some non-Elliott wave observations there, and especially this is more like a traditional market with how it trades, since it has weekends closed.
Yeah, and look at that right there too. If I'm connecting the 2 to where the E is, it rejected that same trend.
If we were to go down to the median line of that channel, what's that look like?
Down there.
Yeah, I mean, that's in a pretty normal, reasonable range.
Bing. And death.
Yeah, that's nice. Got the squiggly out. Got the
Hey,
squiggly.
just for everybody, that is the highest form of technical analysis right there.
Yep, squigglies.
That's all you need.
That's why you don't see me do them. Can't pull it off.
You have to make the sound
I
effect.
just have
though.
I just have the polyline tool.
You have to have the sound effect. Pew!
Zoom out some. So zoom out to where basically with the perspective of that June low to hard right edge. So why does it look off? Are you? Oh, you're on CME. That looks
CME.
It looks way different. Check out the spot chart.
Yeah, I mean, this played perfectly for us. Broke this channel. I mean, we talked about this on stream a couple times. Broke the channel, didn't get above this resistance. This was like a perfect short, and a lot of us got it. I've
missed
closed mine already because
I think
it's
a
just
ton of
gone
us got it.
sideways.
Yeah, a ton of us got it. I definitely missed it. So from if you zoom in on, just like take your magnifying tool and magnify around basically there. Yeah. So what's interesting to me is basically from that yellow 4 to hard right edge, it's like, wow, anybody's guess. And you guys have seen my different ideas for potential ending diagonals and things like that. I think one thing that's sort of important to keep in mind, and we're kind of like shit in the bed right now, aren't we? Is draw a channel from that 4 high to the basically base channel that move.
This one?
Yeah. No. Next one over. Oh, that's actually weird because I'm looking at it on Coinbase. Oh, you're in log and I'm not. Oh, that's probably why. If you take it out of log, boom. I just happen to be noticing that right now, which is like, I don't, could this be some sort of a
B?
B, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I'm wondering if we're getting a B and maybe we're gonna have a rip your face off C that's gonna get everybody freaking, I don't know.
That's what I was looking for, really. But I didn't want it to sweep the low because we'd already had so much
liquidity hunt.
Yeah, I guess I didn't want to say it, but messery versus the effery.
Yeah.
I feel like with our audience, we can say.
Well, someone said thanks for letting me. It does.
Where does that come from, though? Where does that move come from? Because all I've seen is people doing self-custody. All the money is coming off exchanges. People are afraid to have money on exchanges, let alone, I guess, because of low liquidity, who's ever on there could just pump it super easily with no money.
Then people bring their money back. Oh, I need to get this moving.
So speaking from, you guys know I use volume all the time, or not volume, Wyckoff. But one of the main things I use Wyckoff for is the volume type of analysis and market profile and things like that. And I think about the auction process, and off of major lows, you always hear people saying, if there's no volume, then you can't have a low. And, I'd like to say that's horseshit, because if you just think about the auction process, if everyone is sold and
there are more sellers, volume dies. Yeah,
exactly. Because, I'm selling at this price, but the crowd of people buying at that price are gone. Well, the seller walks away too. And then all you have are holders at that point. So any selling at all or buying at all can have a greater effect on the market. So you can't start one of these rallies, and it could be a rip your face off rally on low volume, but you do expect it to kick back in and, reincite the auction process. But so although we
look
have
at this channel,
we have had volume
looking at my screen
below. Yeah.
Like it's been holding price action pretty well. You get the reaction here. We could, like I said, get this as a B, come down back up to here before finally rolling over and nuking harder.
It's just such an ugly chart, man.
Like that's
and it could be working at a few different degrees too. I mean, you could be at that 4 that you're talking about where it goes back up into the 17, 18,000. I mean, even it could go back to the top of that channel and still be some kind of a corrective structure.
Well, here's
22, 24.
I think that there's mad trades to be had within, and so this channel that I just pointed out, I think that could be a potential play for a bounce trade. But my greater point is in this inability to count what we see from your yellow 4. I don't know if you guys at home can see where the yellow 4 is. Just move your mouse around it.
This one?
To the left. Oh, it's a W on this chart.
Yeah.
But
Well,
from there
that-
to
yeah.
hard right edge is so like, from the low to there, that's totally fine zigzag for me. You might think, you viewers at home might be thinking, oh, that's fucked up too. No, that's perfectly fine zigzag to that point. But we could be putting in just another zigzag here. So, but basically the price action is such that as far as calling a resolution to the entire correction, which I have been sort of espousing for months, like it's close, it's not here, but it's close. I hate to say it, the way, like to me, the most important, and also to Rolf Nelson Elliott, he said this, the most important part of the theory is being able to identify when something is completed. And I feel like further away from the end of the overall bear market correction now than I have in quite some time because of the uncertain price action from that point forward. Because if that is a reactive at that level, it's like, okay, then I guess the true bottom isn't for months and months away, right? Even if we do get a nice rally, which like that right there, the true bottom is still that's September next year.
I mean, this isn't projected out.
Yeah, I know,
This
but
was just an
that
idea I was
looks, but
following.
months, 6
but
months.
that does
at
look
least.
right? So that's what's good. What's nice about those things, and of course, you never expect it to follow, but it has the right look. So that isn't a terrible idea for when time could go. It could go quicker. It could go a lot further. But out there wherever you're, that's April 23 is where your mouse is now. But doesn't seem unreasonable. But we need to basically see something resolve, and nothing is resolving here except for potentially a zigzag ending at this low. That would be cool to me.
Right. Yeah. If we stop right here, I think it's a pretty clean zigzag, and that definitely indicates that the bottom's not in, because we're not finishing this in 3. There's no diagonal going on there at a higher degree.
Yeah, this
it would have to be
great.
It would have to be a reactive wave, and if we finish off with a straight nuke here, then I feel a lot better about the bottom being in. But just dilly-dallying and then pumping is overall.
I just meant
more
real time. We're
bearish.
nuking real time right now.
Oh, in real time we're nuking.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're pushed to the MZ.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we're at 1,080 on.
So
ETH.
Here's my thing. So one thing
Where's my
that
fucking
we all know about
channel?
Elliott wave, right,
My
is
bad.
that the triangle resides in the penultimate position of a pattern. And if we have just resolved the triangle and we are potentially resolving a zigzag of this size, this could be a nice fucking opportunity to just dive in on some spot, or a longer term potential for a swing. Because if we go back to retest the high of this zigzag, if it is assuming it's a sideways correction and this is the B, that gives us roughly anywhere between, very conservatively, let's say 23,000 all the way up to 26,000 as a potential target. So you could literally long from here to there. And it's like, well,
It's
again, this is me not giving a fuck about the news. Yeah.
You're talking about this idea right here.
Yeah, exactly. And then, and to the triangle,
Because we're not looking at your chart right now, I don't think.
No, we're not. I know we're looking at yours. So where your mount, if you go to the triangle, or actually if you want to switch to my chart, Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you might as well go ahead and put 18 plus on our stream. Uncle Toots.
18 months. Oh, why would I? Was I cursing?
Yeah, just like a little. Just
Dude,
like we all do.
Yeah. Let's just say I'm a product of
You're
my
up there.
environment.
I
All
try
right.
not to.
I don't even notice. Okay. So we have, when I was saying, with the potential for that to swing up to here with the total idea that yes, there is, we don't know what this count is, but we do see a potential for a finishing pattern at this degree. We don't have to know the larger degree for what all of this is, just to be able to see that this is potentially finishing. And if we're wrong, then we could still be wrong and still make money on it, right? So, and then another idea towards that side is if this is a triangle and it is the penultimate, meaning the pattern before the final leg of a move, that means that after this leg, we correct at least all of this move here, right? So, but in reality, it could very well be headed to this area. So,
Did we switch to you?
no, we did.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
we?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're just looking you're just watching Hove on Zoom, probably.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Sorry.
Yeah.
Making sure everybody can see.
anyway, that's my whole point to there is that especially the way we're coming out of this thing. I mean, triangle is seeming it's seeming pretty triangular. You know, I don't know if this is what's weird is how does this triangle fit like contextually? Do you guys have I don't have how that fits contextually.
Like I showed on my initial count, this is just like a smaller degree fourth. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
but where's the 2?
What do you mean? Where's the 2?
If this is if this triangle, if the current triangle,
it's way up there. So it's if you zoom in, especially on CME, it's a lot easier.
So it's this little thing here.
That wick. No. Look at the big wick
to the left.
This guy.
No.
Oh.
No.
All right, guide me.
So this triangle would be a fourth of this same leg that we're in.
I'm looking at your chart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So right here. So here.
Now I can see your chart, but not everybody can see. So.
All right. Well, I'm gonna zoom in for you, so
and
I'll
I'll make it make sense to them. Just where's the 2 to the triangle 4 that I was highlighting?
Yes, yeah, 2 right here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, that's way too small for me. And that's the thing is that you have to accept that this pattern that should be nowhere near. But I mean, that's what I'm saying is contextually, how does this thing exist? But so Hove is saying that, yeah, this thing that I was pointing at before would be the 2 relative to this 4. And to me, you know, and whenever you do see it, and really, if anything, it's going to be this wick, probably.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but
it's still so small.
Yeah, it's so small. Like
the thing is like with
stuff happens,
the way that crypto is, I don't really fall into this whole idea of this 4 being small than the 2. We see that so often in crypto, and I see it all the time. And my thought around this, it has nothing to do with what anybody else has ever said, but like in reality, when this 4 comes in, we're correcting what this move was. So if this was super strong, it's going to take more time to correct than this little tiny wave, right? In comparison, like this is a small 1, so we get a small 2. Well, this was a crazy 3, so it's going to take more time and more depth to correct this price action than it did for this tiny 1. And that's my thought, because we get these explosive moves like this on real time looked like it could have been an ABC down for this, and then we're going higher. But in reality, it turned out to be a 1-2, 1-2. And then all of a sudden it just nuked this crazy price action. So the degree in which this and this don't have to be, in my mind, perfect, because in reality, this 4 is correcting the price action of this 3, and it's not doing the price action of this 1 or 2.
I guess we could have a philosophical debate about that at some point, but I could probably take this for hours. But I will just have to go with agree to disagree, because I basically, the channeling guidelines and Elliott wave are pretty much like one of the most important things for me. And so if it
of interest, actually put a channel on it, because it actually fits decently. Like it doesn't break the base channel.
Yeah, but if you draw a temporary channel.
You're talking about me?
Oh, yeah, it's me. I'm sorry. No, it's me. I'm on stream. Shoot. I'm sitting here like looking at
I had switched back to him, but now you're up, Tuts.
Okay.
Like that?
Okay. So
I mean, it crushes the temporary channel.
Yeah. So if we're going to say this is just the temporary channel, and just the simple guideline is that the temporary channel is a minimum price expectation for a wave 4 in relation to a wave 2. You would kind of expect to break it, right? But if you break it by too much, then it shouldn't be. Well, too much, that's subjective. And it's like, yeah, it is to a certain degree, but really it's just like common sense guidelines, I like to call it. But anyway, there's another guideline that will say that if you don't want to break the bottom side of the base channel, which we don't here yet, relative to. Yeah, neither.
Yeah, because but you don't want to break an aggressive move.
So yeah, I typically will even be more conservative than that on these a lot of the times, depending on it all depends on the shape of the impulse. But if we get an impulse that goes like, basically a lot of times what I'm looking for in an idealized impulse, Let's make this smaller so it fits on the screen. So like in an idealized impulse, I'd be looking for the base channel basically come up and it touches the top. And then the fourth will touch the top. And maybe depending on the shape, you can just tell it and look at it the way, okay, maybe it should come down to here. Like, so, depending on the situation, on my guideline, personally, I might see it break through here and then say, oh, fuck that, it's not a 4. Yes. Yeah. It's an 18 over stream, by the way. And sometimes it might be a median break where I'm like, no. Like there's one right now where if a median breaks on ES that we haven't even got to yet, but if we get, then that's where I'm going to say, nah, it's not a 4 anymore. So that I can give you a perfect example in real time. And I will say that I live so strongly by these channeling guidelines that I don't even consider the possibilities of what you were just talking about. So it would be, we would have to like sit there and debate, and I would not necessarily, because I used to way back in the day practice that way. And I just found that when I started practicing this way, I just became able to be a lot more reliable in my, expectations and things like that. But so channeling is like, to me, is like, I won't say it's the most important thing, but it's pretty much the most important thing.
I agree. It's not perfect though. Even channeling, we get it wrong all the time.
Nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect.
And
especially with the sharper moves or the shallower moves, you really see, I don't want to say the weakness, but you see the times when the exceptions occur, specifically when there's a very fast move like that. I mean,
but I would say more exception than a rule. More exception.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But like right now, I guess I could potentially be willing to accept that. Like maybe this wick here is a 2, just because, again, like I'm saying, is contextually, how does this triangle fit? And honestly, at the end of the day, when I don't think that, it's that important, right? Because I see that we're finishing a, big swing, 3-swing move into a base channel, finishing up with a potential triangle. I don't necessarily need to know the subwave structure of where that triangle fits into an impulse or whatever the hell it is, because I know that triangle is going to be the last thing before the last, the 5th wave down. And, this is the way I think of things. So that if I don't basically, let's just say I'm happy to accept the unknown. And, sometimes in situations where like this, I would have an unknown here. And that's just the way I compute it in my brain. Unknown. Don't know how it fits. Don't really care. Focus about what I care, not what I can control, but just things that I can think of that are, important and highly probable. But
yeah. So for me, I think of things as I'm still a student of Elliott wave, and I'm still learning the theory, which is just that. It's a theory that was placed and made back when markets were a little different than they are now. There was no crypto. So I'm taking it as I'm still trying to develop and expand the theory in a way to see if it has changed. I always go by being a purist, of course. I follow the rules and guidelines, but I'm also trying to see if there is new data that says differently than what we were taught 20 years ago when Elliott wave was written.
And I'm with you. And like EWI is always adapting their rules and guidelines. Like the current guideline set that we have is not developed, 40 years ago. It's, depending on when it came out, newer. And I have personal exceptions to EWI rules and guidelines that I use and act on, just like basically that base channel thing that I was talking about, that's a personal thing. And there's a few other things out there that I, sort of staunchly disagree with EWI on.
The one thing I do like that the reason why 4s can sometimes be a little different looking than the 2, I'll say that, is in Elliott wave. I don't remember which chapter or if it was even in the book or read it somewhere. But price action only needs to satisfy the correction in either price or time. It doesn't have to satisfy both of those requirements. And
that was
when
quantism. That was a quantism.
I was gonna say that is quan.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I learned it, but I think that came directly from Elliott EWI when we were having those discussions with them way back in the day. And when you look at this fib pull on my screen. I don't know if the stream can see it, but when I'm looking at the fib pull from the 2 to where the 3 is, well, it was a perfect.
Okay. You're up now.
So from my 2, I drew that same base channel just so you can see it in white. It doesn't get up that high, but from the 2 to the 3 for that fib pull, we get almost a perfect 50, then a rejection at almost to the tick of the 382 again. And so this is what I'm saying. It's satisfied it in price because this would be where a 4 typically goes high probability wise before rolling over. And that is why I can argue that sometimes we'll get these tiny 2s and we'll get larger 4s. And I'm okay with that being my outlook. I get probably hundreds of comments now when I post a chart with something like this. There's always a reply guy saying, "Oh, that doesn't look right." I'm like, dude, whatever. Like,
yeah, I've noticed you do that, and I've been in the area of giving you shit a couple times about it. So, I mean, look, here's the way I look at it. Are you able to accurately project future price expectation? Then whatever you're doing is working for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, and I guess to the letter of the rule there, that doesn't break the guideline, right? So, and like, for instance, me, like, I oftentimes won't even bother with having a count at the degree that you show. Like, I would just probably, if I was going to, come through here, honestly, for this, when it first came down, I was thinking 3-wave, just the way that scam wake down up, like that finished and then started over something else. But if anything, I'm just going to take dominant swings usually. Unless like what I like to do is I'll leave the chart, and we're getting so off. This is just like becoming an Elliott wave stream.
Sorry, guys.
This is the code Elliott wave stream. But basically, I wonder if we should just shut up. But I think it's interesting.
Maybe we should.
Let's move on to
first. Let's ask if they even like this kind of in-depth chatter, because if not,
I could go on for hours with you about this, because it is kind of crazy though. It's just to say that you and I learned the same exact way. And back in the beginning, we used to practice exactly the same. And over, 6 years, whatever it is, we've sort of developed our own way about things. And it's kind of interesting that we still kind of usually, I remember we used to always see eye to eye, like everything would be the exact same. And now it's like we've kind of diverged in that regard, but then the results are almost always like the same expectation.
The same. Yeah.
So
like, it is weird that way. I think over time I simplified what I was doing, because a lot of the times at previous places, it got a little too busy and it gave paralysis by analysis, because we're looking at so many different aspects. There's fibs and ratios and channeling and pitchforks and EMAs and this, that, and the next, where like, I guess I'm with you on the fact that like you talked about just taking those macro pivots, and that's pretty much what I do, because I'll find those relationships and those right looks and fibs and all that stuff, and I'll take those macro pivots just like you do, but I also get down on these micros so I can scalp like a degen.
Well, hey man, my favorite, you were laughing at me the other day when I told you like legitimately my favorite time frame to trade is 2 to 5 minutes. It legitimately is my favorite.
Well, that's because you're like, oh, I'm gonna post this for the guys. I'm like, dude, within 3 minutes of you like even thinking that idea, the trade is gone.
Yeah,
so you can't be posting that for people.
But sometimes I've been in 2 minute, like on a 2 minute chart where I get into a trade and that shit has lasted like a week and a half. But
that's the dream right there.
That is the dream. But that's not obviously common. So but yeah, man, this triangle breaking down, I do think we could just make a stream about that, or like you and I could do like an educational, whatever. Anyway, we definitely side railed. These guys wanted to see, people are saying it's interesting, but I feel like they really want to talk about price. And we're already almost an hour in and we've only,
so where are we going?
In my opinion, I think
what's our bottom?
Ultimate bottom?
Ultimate.
Are we bottoming? Where does this move in? Is it the bottom?
Dude, just live on this live stream, I'm switching to some sort of zigzag, triangle, breaking down, penultimate position. I'm thinking swing long. Like, let's start fucking buying right now. Like, let's make a purchase on stream. Like, that's what I'm starting to think. Obviously, I want to get off stream and look at it.
Agree to disagree.
I want to make a buy here.
I mean, I'm buying at my spot level that I talked about. I think eventually,
That was lower, yeah.
I mean, like we talked about in the weekly outlooks and some of our other stuff, like we've taken these shorts. Like I rode this one, closed it out. I also took the link short that I posted. I closed that one out because those were like 20 or 30% moves on leverage. So I don't need to catch this whole next 10%. I'm like,
take your win.
Exactly. I found the high probability trade. I took it. I took my profit. And now I'm not trying to force anything here because this has been completely gibberish and non-high probable for a trade setup, in my opinion. Because how many times have we looked at this and be like, oh, this could be a bigger degree triangle, and then it comes up and breaks that and invalidates. Oh, this could be this. This could be this. It's like, dude, I'm not trying to trade this BS right at this moment.
There's so many times in the Discord where guys are like, triangle, I'm trading it this way. I'm just like, yeah, it might be. I'm not trading it. Why? Because I have personal rules within myself where I don't trade triangles for the breakout. I've gotten chopped up too many times. And triangles, like, you know, where I'm going to take it, like if you switch to mine, like I'll take the breakout and hope. I think you do it this way too, where you take the breakout and then if you get a retest on the trend line, something like that, I'll take that. Like give me a small 5-wave move, breaking out of the triangle, 3-wave retrace. Yeah, I'll take a 3C off it all day, but I don't want to, but that's more of a 3C play, right? That's not a triangle play. Like,
I play both ways.
Just looking at this too, this is just the B of a triangle, man. We got A up, B down, and we got C, D, E to go
right
for the next year.
Although it's on, if you look on the,
oh, you mean macro.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. I'm looking at the day or the weekly. That's an A. We're coming down for a B.
Stop.
Nah, top's in.
Yeah.
Somehow in all this sideways, I think last week I traded like $10 million volume. Like it's so stupid.
I remember you showed me that.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? You know, we're laying low. We're not taking a lot of trades. It's junk. Monty, no, I'm all
Monty. Oh, 3 minute, yes.
There's been a lot of good trades. There's been a lot of good trades on the low time frame until about, let's say, I would say
once
for
the volume
me,
kind of died.
Yeah, right about the November 15th is, you know, about the time that got shitty for me.
Yeah, I think once the FTX kind of blew up, it became, I mean, right after the FTX blew up, it was awesome. The volatility was so good. I was catching these like 6 or 7% scalps on Link, non-leverage. It's 6 or 7%.
Turned into kind of like when Fed is going to release inflation data. We're waiting for news to trigger the market.
Dude, I think we were in a short when the FTX news dropped. Were we in a short? I think we were.
Yeah.
Something happened, like, and it was like, oh, that went way faster in our direction. Oh no, it was after FTX. We had long to retrace of something, and there was some good news that came out, like quick good news, and our little long that was, you know, like basically you would have expected to be like a day or two was like instantly like hit target.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, that was
like, that happened quicker than
then it nuked right after. Anyway,
anything else we want to cover on this?
If it is a triangle, post triangle thrust somewhere in the neighborhood of roughly 14,680, roughly. I mean, it's such an ugly triangle, you can't really get a good draw, but I'm going to say somewhere around that neighborhood. Seems okay. 14,680. But yeah, basically anything that shows,
I wonder if it'll trickle down.
Exhaustion, like come down to that. I want to redraw this channel that I was showing for that zigzag, but anything on this move that's like an impulse finishing on exhaustion, like give me some divergence. I really
want to just go ahead and nuke for the sake of ending the bear market, but
yeah,
you know, if we go ahead and finish 5 down here, like a real 5 down, like this is the one of the 5 basically.
Oh yeah.
Finish up, but other than that, we're in for more bearish long term. We'll get a bullish relief rally, and it could be a very significant one, but overall, it's still pretty bearish for me.
Yeah,
I wanted to nuke because I want to buy that BTC and send it to my ledger.
Yeah, and just sit on me like I'm done. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm safe. I'm safe. When it goes to $10
What do you mean?
million,
Send it to-
money on exchanges.
Send it to SBF's new exchange.
Oh yeah, send me a referral link, bro.
So I think we're all a little bit different view, but pretty much on the same kind of page in general.
So looking at, I didn't know we can run polls on this. This is pretty cool. But I guess 94% of people said they like the back and forth on the EW talk. So maybe we'll have a whole chat on that one day. Not today. We already did.
Yeah.
We already did like 20 minutes of talking about nothing.
I vote that I would love to talk about some ES. I mean, we're supposed to be an hour long, but yeah, it's not nothing. Yeah. I feel like everything we talked about was
throw the poll up like Elon did. Should we keep going?
Well, I would say
definitely get into ES.
Let's do ES.
Well, should we do ES or should we ask them what they would like to see?
Well, you start doing ES and then
what if they don't want to see ES?
Comment what you want to see. They might not want to see the ES, but
your chart's already up.
It's highly correlated.
Let's see what they say. ES, yes or no? Do you guys want to hear about the S&P? It's important.
Let me do it.
Actually,
you want to hear about it because you should.
Is at a pretty critical level. It rejected our 618, and it looks like if it loses the current level, I think we start heading for those lows.
Yes. So it looks like you just changed to my chart, but
I went back because you weren't on. We're just a little.
Oh, I mean, I was just talking.
The thing was delayed. Oh, I'm looking at the stream studio, and I guess it's delayed because it's showing my Bitcoin chart.
Yeah, no, it's on Hove's right now because he had the little box with the.
Oh, it's on me.
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you switched it right when I switched to ES.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, so I guess I'll just quickly
10 votes, 70-30, so let's do it.
All right. So in my opinion, I mean, we've talked about this a lot. I've been kind of wrong on the micro a lot here. I still feel like we're in this expanding diag, but I think we're at a critical level here. I'll get on a smaller time frame just so we can see the breakdown. I know it's busy, but I trade off these charts. So this looks more like a corrective down to me currently. The only way I can see this as a possible impulse would be this is some form of expanding diet going down for a 1. But in my opinion, it kind of looks like this was 1, 2, 3, 4, and we could get this push up to this. I talked about this level 4130, which is also a high time frame resistance area right here. But if we lose this support and we break this channel, I think we're going to start heading for those new lows pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, same. There's literally pretty much you and I at the degree of concern are lockstep. And then obviously at the large degree, we have a disagreement, but you guys have seen that. I think he thinks it's an expanding diag. I think it's a multi zigzag. Just keep in mind that if it's going to be an expanding diag, he'll need the 5th wave to be longer than the 3rd wave, and you'll be looking for that in real price, not log price, but just keep in mind in that.
This is real price, which is 333,850.
So if you get there, then it can be. And of course, remember, just because it does meet those rules doesn't mean it can't be a triple zigzag. And that's kind of one of the fucked up things about Elliott Wave. But, one of my, as we talked about Elliott Wave, sort of how we've practiced and things like that. One of the things that I've sort of practiced on that, especially at this degree, I don't bet on leading diagonals. They happen. I understand they happen. I just don't make trades based on them. Of course, at this degree, it's crazy. But either way, we have it both ending. Big moves after to the upside. It just depends on how much per which idea you more agree with. But at the degree of concern, I would say we're exact lockstep.
So, I mean, as soon as you said something earlier, I knew we were in the same idea. I hadn't seen your chart or anything, but you said something about
the base channel.
Yeah, I think it was something along those lines, and I was like, oh, I know what his count is now.
Yeah.
But when we talk about EW, what do you consider more rare? the expanding diag or the triple zigzag? Because both are in their theory considered rare.
It depends.
In my experience in traditional markets, they're both pretty common.
It depends on I think it depends on your chart. It depends on the time frame. I always like to say, like, all the rules and guidelines are built around, this is to make this theory applicable to any tradable asset. But I think that if you focus on a certain chart or asset enough, you start to learn the tendencies and guide the tendencies and, just how that chart will in itself act. And, so it depends. But to answer your question on a broad scale, I think they're both fucking super rare. So there you go.
I'm actually in agreement with Erie here. I think I've seen so many expanding diags and so many multi zigzags that
because there's so much chop.
Well,
there's so much chop that you can't call a lot of patterns anything but a multi zigzag.
Well, see, that's the thing is, if I can't make out a pattern, I just literally will not have a label for it. So if I know, like, for instance, this bit of chart here is corrected because I've got, I can see the context of, then we got impulsive out of it. So we're impulsive into it, impulsive out of it. I know it's a correction. Unless I'm trying to be academic, I don't give a, you guys are getting on me for cursing. I don't care what the labeling on the internal structure is if I'm like way to the hard right edge. That's just me. But I would say on the lower time frame, see, this thing is, it's like, okay, in altcoins, I think expanding diagonals happen all the time. So
Yeah.
I don't see them in Bitcoin very often. So it's like, that's why I say it depends on the chart. But I mean, when I say all the time, you could say all the time, but it's 1 in 10 times a lot. And at this degree, let's just say, would you say it's 1 in 10 times, 1 in 5, 4, 2, 50? Like, what do you think?
That they happen?
Yeah. In general, let's just say, in general,
I'll say like 10% of the time or less.
Okay, so 1 in 10 times. So if we were to zoom out, that's the thing. And people always try to say this, and here we go. We can get into I'm getting to the weeds on the theory again, because people try to give me like the shit, like, well, it's noise on the 2-minute bullshit. It's just as noisy on the 2-minute as the 2-day. It just so happens that you see way more patterns on the 2-minute. So it just makes, it's just obviously more noisy, right? But the whole, I like to liken it to, like, I'm going through a really foggy lake on a rowboat and I can't see 5 feet in front of me, and I just keep rowing until I see an opening, and then I can make decisions based on the opening in the fog and then move on in clarity until it gets foggy again. That's my way I progress through the markets. So I only look to act on things that I see as highly probable. But
I think the problem with us too is we do so many charts that we see them way more than most people, because I mean, I've probably done tens of thousands of charts. So I see them all the time. And when people are just charting, say, Bitcoin or the S&P 500, they're not going to see them that often in those certain assets. But when you're doing thousands of charts, you're going to see them quite often. And so that's why I think we're a little more biased, because we see them all the time because we're doing so many different assets.
Yes. But even 1 in 10, and I agree with you, 1 in 10, probably. But so if we were to zoom out at the, let's say, 3-day time frame, like, so the odds of this being either one of those things, it's like, you shouldn't feel great about it, right? And I don't feel great about, here's the one thing I feel good about, is that the next leg down, there's going to be a big ass rally after. I'll feel good about that. And then, you know what I'm going to do? As the market gives me data, I'm going to reassess, right? So if we go up in 5 waves to the all and say make a new all-time high, or just below an all-time high, even below an all-time high would be even better. If we go up in 5, I'm going to feel great that, even if it is, supposed to be a B or something, but really, if we're going to go take out the low, this can't be an A or a 1, because the B or 2 shouldn't take out the start of the A. So, but even if we go up in 5 and say get 90% of the way, well, I know that it's not going to be a 5-wave B, so that then I can potentially sell positions on the, at close to all-time high, look for a nice perfect zigzag retrace, get into it again. I don't have to have the clarity at this degree to, make money. That's
you
the
can
way I
trade
look at it.
different degrees, and that's something we always talk about within the Discord. Is we're not trying to just trade this large macro degree, but we're in here taking this. If this was a 3 or C, we're taking that trade because those are the high probability trades that we want to get behind. Regardless of what is going on here, we're still able to trade the weeds in between.
Yeah, and the weeds in between might even be the same like degree perspective to see again, like if I see a 5-wave, let's say it goes down to where his little yellow line is drawn, which I think at this point would rotate time wise. But anyway, and then it bounces, let's say as an impulse to that, where that red line is, to that POC, that 44.36. And this is just random guesses. But if it goes up to there in 5 waves, I don't necessarily care how that fits contextually, because I know that it's not a C, right? Like there's no real probable expectation that would be a C wave up. So then if I see a completion of a 3-wave move down off of that, so even at that degree, I don't necessarily have to have all the puzzle pieces together to make decisions, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you have a relatively clean daily chart on that?
Yeah. Let me pull it up. I have it on a different one. I have one where it's just nothing on it. So you're talking to me, right?
Yeah. I think you're showing, right?
I don't know.
Yes, he is.
Okay. Let me pull it up. There you go. There's
all right. So throw your little pitchfork on from the all-time high. That second major pivot down there.
This one?
Yeah. And then back. Oh, and you're already in the right one. You're in the shift, and turn your log off.
Erie's favorite.
Yep.
Oh, I saw a really important shift. Oh, that reminds me.
That just if we can't break that local high, that wick there from last week, that's pretty bearish to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty nasty wick right on that median line.
Yeah.
And it's done the same thing here.
What's the momentum oscillator?
It's pushed through it a couple it's, let's say the fast or the slow stochastic is actually,
that's what
I'm going to say it's showing divergence for sure.
It is. Is it overbought at that median strike?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Huh.
It's at like 80, maybe up to 90 in there on the daily. And it's, it's not really divergent, but it doesn't look good there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest. Looking at my pitchforks, I've got a whole lot more, but that seems to be the most significant one to me. So until we can get above that median line and establish it as support, because we've broken above it a couple times, but even on the daily, it went above and stayed up for like a week, but it never retested. And as soon as it retested it lost it and then rejected hard, and we got that big dump. So I think if we reject here,
I'd love to see that 5th wave finish, to be honest, because it could be a nice swing down opportunity, because this right now, I'm not like on the oscillators he's showing, I'm not seeing any divergence, and really in what I've looked at, I'm not seeing, it's not like, every move has been off that, where it's been, off that Fed news low has been strong. And I would love to see another move on exhaustion, because that's where I like to make an act. But although if we break out of that channel, like you were saying, we could potentially, because this is a nice potential for a swing to new lows, you know what I mean? But it's just not set up perfect.
That's the one that's what shows up to me. And like, just for everybody listening, those are the kinds of pitchforks that I find to be really important. And when I clear all the noise off, that's one that stays on.
Yeah, I mean, that one looks really good. You get so much price action around that median.
And the other thing, this is just a little, I'll say freebie. To me, you see the price action when it goes outside of the pitchfork. It doesn't seem to be losing momentum. It's getting farther and farther down. Like if you had parallels drawn, it's breaking to new lows, or at least equal lows. So it's not losing momentum. If you're getting lower prices, but it's hitting higher parallels, I view that as a form of divergence.
Would you put like a two parallel on here or
You
3
could.
or
I don't. No,
Yeah.
I do not use any of the sublines either. I use the 50 and the 100% is all I use.
I've gotten into that as well. If anything, I use the 50
because
and the
they're so like the 12.5% divisions are useful and they're very active. But as soon as you put more than one pitchfork onto your chart,
it gets crazy.
it does. And I mean, it starts to look like Monty's chart in no time.
Burn.
Damn, got him.
Shots fired.
Rodsy's just
But
minding
But
his
I
own
do get
business.
it. I mean, it's hard because they are useful and they're like you can see on that chart right there. Though I mean, they're extremely reactive
There's
and
been a
like
hell
it
of
tags stuff perfectly. So it's
Yeah.
like you hate to not have them on, but then as soon as you start drawing the micro pitchforks, you're like, which one's important? Which one actually like you start getting lines everywhere, and you just to me, I have to settle with the 50 and be like, this is what's important.
Yeah.
Shots fired for sure.
We had a hell of a rally off that nuke that was earlier in the on Bitcoin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't
It's
even.
rejected.
And
It?
it bounced right off of 618 right now, and then it's sort of
Oh
consolidating.
man, that's a perfect
Bottom
Did
test?
it swing the bottom? I think it broke the low.
Got an SFP?
I can't tell.
No, it didn't. On
No,
that one.
just barely
Yeah, it's still
by
Do
a
it-
dollar.
Do an hourly line.
Oh, we already know what it's gonna look
or
like.
maybe 15-minute
It's
line.
gonna fail it. Fail it. Oh,
There it is, baby. There it is.
Ooh, that'd be nasty. Like
That-
we talked about,
That's
if it
that
does
Monty
do
fifth
that
I talk about.
move up to here, that 18K now, that would screw a lot of people.
if you pull out of that sideways break, that's like it's interesting. There might be some trades going on today.
Monty, your screen isn't hooked up, right?
No, sorry.
All right. I was gonna say like
what I
There's
do see that's kind of concerning is we do have that volume that's coming in though. So I mean, I guess if it holds there on volume, that's definitely optimistic.
that volume was coming in on the previous
buys?
down of the previous, but the moves off the low have so actually no, that's more volume off the low. Yeah.
I'm trying to find a Monty pull here.
And if anybody's familiar with Gan Man, he's all about the volume and the relationship to the price. And we're in a downtrend, so more volume is not our friend at this point.
Yeah, I mean
That's the quick summary. He can confuse you for a few days if you really want to dig into it. But
He and I look at volume very different. I think very differently. Like
you do. He looks
Yeah.
at volume differently than anybody I know, though.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
there's that.
we've had a
again-
little back and forth, but like I could see the move off the low where it could be a disagree because I'm always thinking about the auction process, right? Because I'm using like market profile and Wyckoff and thinking about why is the volume there? Oh, because there's more buyers at this level, right? So anyway.
Yeah, because I don't think that price drop is shaking anyone out. If they were weak hands, they would have been out on the first dump, when the news was awful. So I do agree with you there. It's the price is coming down and people are buying, like the volume's going up because there are more buyers at that price level.
Mhm.
Now the interesting part is what happens when we rally a little. Do the sellers come back in and crush them or
Right.
not? That's where I think are gonna have some clarity in what's gonna happen.
All right, we could go on for hours, and I just sidetracked us completely from ES. So, what do we want to do here?
right,
I mean,
so-
we talked about the ES a little bit, and we're both in the
Yeah.
same view. It sounds like if you
Yeah.
want to just quickly cover yours, because I went over mine super quickly, but it was at an area where like if it breaks that support level, then I think we're gonna head for those lows.
All right, sounds good. I might have a sneeze coming on here, so I mean, I literally couldn't agree with Hove more. I sort of expect the channel that I was talking about, where if we in the base channel using my altered,
I don't think we're
guidelines
on
level-
your chart yet.
Oh, we are.
Oh, we are.
Just switched.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. My
You're
bad.
delayed. If you look on the Zoom, you can look at Monty's camera, and that's real time. But anyway,
Oh, I was just looking at yours. My bad.
that's all good. So basically, you had a channel drawn. I don't remember. Hove had a channel like this, I think.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that. That basically, if it breaks out of there, I would say a little even more aggressively, if we break the median of this base channel, that I would say it's no longer a fort in my book, especially because if we do, it's probably going to coalesce with be confluent with breaking back into this pitchfork. So at that point, I would say,
is that the word you're going for?
Confluence. Is that
I don't think that's a word. No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Okay. I said coalesce. Anyway. Yeah, it's doing these things is difficult. Speaking and doing public speaking. Anyway, that's right. There you go.
Speaking, and then also like just shooting from like memory all of the rules and guidelines and putting those into practice like that. It comes naturally, but then when you're like trying to talk about it out loud, you're like, what the hell am I trying to say?
Yeah, I don't know. It's gotten so natural doing these videos for so long now because I've been doing regular videos for a while. Anyway, and I just love to hear myself talk, obviously.
We can tell.
Yeah. So basically exactly with Hove, the one thing he didn't show is that I'm leaning towards this would be the 4. Something like this. Oops, this would probably maybe even out here. But so this would be relatively large, but if this comes in and breaks, and I only say that I'm expecting a sideways here now, obviously rule of alternation. Trying to delete. But the price action off this low is not looking impulsive, not looking part to be impulsive. So I'm thinking we finished a 3-wave move to here, 3-wave move to there, another 3-wave up, hopefully come here, test this high, put 3 down. Now, if this again breaks this median of this channel, then I think we're going to rippy dip down. So the options are basically that it's either a diagonal like that, A, B, C, or it's probably some sort of W, X, Y, X, Z, which, you hate to see those. So even
they're
though,
rare, never had 1 in 10.
Yeah, even though we've got one on the chart here, and yeah, so these are the targets there.
They never happen.
Yeah, rare 1 in 10 happen all the time. It's just
the rarest of the rarest of the rare.
Yeah. So I don't like to bet on them, as I say, but again,
that's a fair.
If I'm going to take a short on this, I would like to have some exhaustion to this move. Maybe into the area of resistance.
So just with your little pitchfork that you got on there, I would love it if it kind of showed some exhaustion up near the intersection of that blue and white line. Like it's the outside pitchfork. Mm-hmm. Yep. Up like right in there at 4,100 would be
you're saying
a really nice place.
So you're saying if it did something like that.
Yeah, somewhere that would be fine too. Because those, I mean, I don't track those because it's too many lines. But yeah, that's really, and I like if we're gonna do a wish, then that would be like that would look like a good short on divergence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just said that I don't really use the other ones, but I will use external. For instance, if I don't think the 1 is important, sometimes I'll just switch it up and make it like the 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times it's like your channeling guidelines. You've got to look at what your pivots are. Do you have a really, really steep angle?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have do you have a deep retrace? It's very subjective, and I mean,
guys get so mad about that too. But it's like, I hate to tell you guys, this is a skill game. Like nothing
and art. And I mean, there's a lot to it.
Yeah. People think that they can get it down to like note cards and this percent chance that this is going to happen. And it's exact. We talk about probability, but we don't actually know the probabilities of what we're talking about.
Yeah, those are completely pulled out of our bottoms. And that is our personal assessment of what the probability is. It's not there's no objective body governing and being like, oh yeah, they are at a 60% reliability rating. Very good.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we like to talk about high probability versus low probability.
Instead of specific percents.
But when you say high probability versus low probability, I mean, even if you were trying to put numbers on that, it's not like a high probability setup is an 80 or 90%.
Never
for us.
Almost never.
To me, high probability is looking at 60%. Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I'm 51.49. That's high probability. Yeah. There we go. So I do think that's something that's important to kind of convey to people, because like my win rate on things is probably 37, 38%. Because I play a really aggressive style and I stop out at break even or a loss a lot. And the ones that do win are what makes the big difference. And of those, maybe 5 or 10 trades a year are what actually makes all money. Some people trade differently than me, but that's how I trade, like really aggressive.
So you're taking a break even
high
as
risk,
a
high
loss.
reward. More, yeah. Break even's a loss to me.
So you're saying basically in your mind, if you don't get full pay, it's a loss.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's how you're very all or nothing. You really are.
Yeah, aggressive.
Because to me, going in my directions just gives me more opportunity to get money on the table. Is the way I look at it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not a let's take a profit, but
I can't wait to see you host one of those, to be honest.
Yeah, I got to. You know how it is.
Well, now that your computer
the governments, all that. Yeah, I'll be ready to roll soon. I've actually got 2 videos that should be done this weekend. So
nice. And I guess
that's for people.
That's a good parlay into the. See, here we go using the wrong words again. And I knew before I said it anyway. It's a good parlay into the next, basically the end here. Like, so we do have. Hopefully, you guys have been checking out the educational content. Monty, your videos coming out, or did they come out?
Mine should be this week. I've done part of one, but
he doesn't have much going on.
Some I had amoxicillin a reaction this weekend, which I wasn't expecting. So that was the fun for this weekend.
And just for everybody's comfort, I am in the medical field, and it was pretty damn bad. Like he's not screwing around with you. It was a nasty thing.
Who had it? You did, Monty?
His kid.
My son for his double ear infection, and then like the 7th day of taking it is when the reaction came, which is really weird.
Dang.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them, and this is, it's probably in like my top 5 bad reactions.
Wow,
dang,
that sucks. Well, back to something.
Never ending.
Just for your comfort, Monty.
And your kid's okay now, right? Before we move on, kid's okay.
Yeah, for the most part, he's not. It's not life or death, but it was ugly.
But will he die? No,
not today.
Good,
not today. That's right.
All right, so we got Monty's videos coming out soon. I didn't mean to throw you on the spot there. Just remember we were talking about that. It sounds like Erie's got some stuff he's uploading. I don't know if you checked out the newer video I uploaded last week. And if you've checked out all the videos, I feel like a lot of you guys haven't seen that measured move video. I feel like you should check that one out for sure. Even if you think you don't need to know the basic stuff, the basic videos are important.
I'm even going to watch that one.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one.
He has all those lines, when he has those lines
because it talks about how to actually use a measured move and not how to fake the funk on a measured move, because it's very easy to just fake the funk.
Mm-hmm. And it's easy to just lose your money doing that for sure.
Yeah.
You don't take every 50 or 618 that comes up?
Nope. And you know why I don't? Because I tried it. Why I don't do a lot of these things that we're teaching is because trial and error, and that's what we're trying to do, is like truncate your learning experience, up your trading game, because we've screwed up before, and I'm sure you've screwed up as well, but I just think we're in a good environment here to get everybody.
Which I know that we got a lot of members in here. Anybody who is not a member, though, we're going to put the link to our website in there, and join us. I think it'll be worth your time and your money, and
speaking of that, we are, I guess I'll announce it. We are doing a Black Friday deal. And the deal is, since we've run out of our founders, like those sold out last week, I believe. So the price is now $299 a month. So Legends, Legends were sold out super quickly. So now the price is back up to $299. $269 was the founders deal that we were giving. We just never said anything. But for this week through Black Friday, it's going to be the $269. and the yearly we're doing 16% off, so it's $2,700 for the year. And after that, it's going to go back to $299 forever, and then $29.99 for the yearly. Was that what we talked about?
Yeah, you basically get 2 months free if you buy a year at a time.
Yeah,
and I don't know if those numbers will sound like a lot to you, sound like a little bit to you, but I can tell you from our perspective, if it sounds like too much, then it's probably too much. But, from our perspective, if you don't more than pay for your membership, like a lot more, then we've failed you as coaches, traders, whatever it may be. So that's the way we're looking at it. And I think that already
and there's been a lot of people who have paid for a year well over, no matter which membership they're with.
Yeah, since we started. So,
and I don't want to. I mean, I think Tudum's got a good point. Like, it's $300, $269, whatever. It is a significant investment. If that is a large price relative to your account size, I'm the first person who's going to tell you should be putting that money into your account. It's not the right time for you to be moving on. You need to have capital to make money in this game. It's the reality of it. Can you turn a $500,000 account into $1 million account? Yes, it's possible. It takes a lot of luck, not just skill, and it's very stressful. And you got to hit a hot streak. Basically,
he said 5,000, not 500. It sounded like he said 500.
Oh no, I said it doesn't matter what you're. I mean, if you've got an under $5,000, $10,000 account, whatever it is, everybody, money is relative to how much you have, but whatever your account size is, you need to be able to build it so that you can make profit when you make a trade. If you're trading with if it goes to target and you make $10, it's going to be awfully hard to make your money back. So that's just, like I said, I'm the first person. That's not the best sales pitch, but I want people to be successful at trading, and you've got to have capital to be successful at trading. And so I think that's your number one step. Once you got the capital, you should be looking at us.
Yeah. I mean, at least, it depends on, I mean, we're definitely looking to actually get you trading and actually working in the markets. There's absolutely educational component here, but we're sort of, our focus is, let's say live fire exercises. So, we
want to educate you in the market and how to be a good trader and how to make money. That's what we're educating. This Elliott wave that we're having discussions on, it's fun for us. We like to talk about it. We'll talk about it for hours, but that's all in service of getting paid.
Yeah.
On the chart.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things where, in my opinion, even if you don't have 5,000 or 10,000 to trade, if you're looking at it as a purely educational base, so you're trying to learn something, the value is still there. I mean, you have 5 of us ready and willing to teach everybody and releasing new educational content all the time. So I'm not, that was not a hard and fast rule, but seriously, if anybody does want an honest opinion on whether it's the right thing for you, I mean, I hate to do this because I could be shooting myself in the foot, but I will tell you truthfully if it's the right decision based on what you've got to trade, what your income is, that sort of thing. I've been all over the board. I mean, I know other people will too, but I really don't want somebody to stretch themselves and hurt their growth because they just don't have the money to trade. Yeah, because we're going to be here for a long time. I'd rather have you when you're ready to be like in a good position to be successful.
Yeah. We could go on for hours.
I mean, that's honestly, that's my personal. How many viewers? Like, that's really my personal belief.
Still 28.
Like I care a lot about each and every one of you out there, and it sounds kind of trite and lame, but I mean, I don't want to say we're going to do something for you and not be able to follow through on it.
Our goal is definitely, as a company, is we think that our goal is to benefit the customer. It's not just to be sort of like a blanket knowledge base or anything like that. Like, your results are literally what we care about. That's our results. So if we aren't able to help you, then we have failed in our minds. So, and I feel like that's a good business model for us. I think it's going to help make us successful. And we know it's going to help make you successful, because if we're not successful unless you are. So that's super important to us.
And that's the reason why we opened that feedback channel in the Discord. Like, we wanted everybody's feedback after the first couple of weeks in the Discord to see how we can improve it and make it even better than it already is. And for the most part, people are saying that they love it, but the ideas that have kind of taken me by surprise is how they talk about the vibe and the humility that we have as a group, which is a lot different than what they normally see out there. This is what members are saying to us. I don't remember exactly what the words were, but
That's
I was
pretty
like,
close.
yeah, I never thought of it that way. Cause I mean, I'm not in any other group. So some of these guys have been in other Discords and said, like,
with, I mean, some
you
of them
better
with
be humble
thousands
or
of
the
people.
market's going to humble you, or you haven't been humbled. That's the thing. That's why I get so mad about people on Twitter and things like that. Like, I mean, Eric Cho, or whoever that are so like loud, and you know why they can be so loud and brash and, confident and, in speaking,
certainties.
Absolute terms.
Yeah. Because they've never fucking actually done anything. That's why. But, I digress.
Yeah, I mean,
guys.
that's the difference. We're also not putting ourselves on a pedestal. Like, we're in the trenches with the guys every single morning and every single day, taking these trades and saying, like, what is real in regards to that trade. We're talking about where we would be right, where we'd be wrong, what the entry is, what the stop would be. And we're not saying this is 100% gonna happen this way. We're trading, and no trades are ever going to be 100%.
Yeah. And I mean, I personally think that I will be a better trader at the end of a year of working with everybody than I am right now. Like, I think we're always growing, and you never get to the end of or to the cap of your skill level.
If you're not getting better, you're getting
worse.
That's
what Mecca and I were talking about, is he's like, this is going to really help him. And I mean, it's going to help all of us really, but just as an analyst ourselves, like, a lot of times we don't talk about, what we do on our own trades. But when we're setting up something for those in the group, it's a high quality setup. And so, we'll be on the 1-3 minute of our own stuff, but we'll never post it. And now it's really going to clean us up and force us to take quality trades. So I think our P&L is going to be better as well as analysts and traders.
I mean, I don't know if it's just been a fluke, but my P&L has been great since the
mine too. I think the market's been easy to trade. I mean, I've almost doubled my little trading account, like my little shitcoin trading account. So, but speaking of, you can't trade the 2 minute. Look right here. I just put up this trade.
Did you really just enter that?
No.
Okay.
Where the entry is, it's down lower.
Okay.
Yeah, but I might. We'll see.
Yeah, that's not the worst looking trade I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care anything about it right now. Like, I'm not even like, this is, most of the people in here are members, so I guess I could just say it.
Yeah,
but I mean, people are going to also watch back. So I mean, a lot of people are going to see this. I don't care. Join the Discord. I always say this anyway in videos. The most important thing to me in this theory is finding something fucking finished. So I want to see that if this can finish up in a perfect zigzag to here, baby, I'm gonna take it. Because I had a little loser earlier in this morning, so
it probably is.
So it's time to revenge trade
and founders.
I'm sorry.
Since it probably is all members and founders, I definitely want to take this time to thank everybody who signed up and is part of it. I mean, because
it is Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, but it's felt awesome. Like, every day I wake up to just so many messages and so many different charts and setups, and like, people are there. We wanted that feeling of like, it's the boys, like, we're trading with the boys, and every single day it feels exactly like that. It's just dudes just chilling and shooting the shit and having a good time, trying to make some money. Like, that Money Shots channel, I have this OCD thing where, like, I don't like when the lights are on certain channels. So I feel like I have to turn that thing off all the time. It like bugs me, but I go in there. I'm like, damn, these guys are crushing it.
All right. That trade setting up was already shit. So never mind.
It already looks like it was an expanded B there. And
I missed it. Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah.
Well, I miss trades all the time. So whatever. That's how it goes. I'm always waiting for that perfect setup.
All right, guys. So I guess we'll end it. We've been rambling for probably 20, actually, probably however long this whole live stream is. We've been
Yeah, we need to go
rambling.
back in and put chapters in and be like
90 minutes. 90 minutes right now of pure back and forth BS.
Yeah. So
with about
long
5 minutes
story
of where
short,
the price is.
Black Friday, sign up because at the end of the week, the prices are going back to the $299 a month level. So don't miss out. Once it's done, it's done.
Yep. And I just want to amend that trade real quick. I think maybe we just put in the 5th.
I knew you were going to do that. I saw
Yeah.
it. I knew you were going to do that as soon as it stopped there.
Yeah. So
I
maybe
don't
we
know.
just.
I don't know if you push line chart now, it's not the same.
Yeah, you know me. I want to see all the price, but I just really what I'm going to look for is
He wants a 3-wave down
exactly
into that 50, 60.
into some juicy, into something juicy. So anything juicy, I'll take it, but we'll see. Anyway, trade it safe. This is a 1 minute chart, so chill out. Don't get crazy.
all in.
Yeah, I'm not rushing into anything right now. I'm definitely taking little scalps like this on leverage and just like taking my little wins here and there because this volatility is great. Like I'm going to trade it while I can because we just spent the last 4 months in sideways effery where it was just a bunch of garbage. And now we're finally getting some movement that is expansion and not just ranging.
And that's, you say that and it does bring something to mind. If we're starting to have expansion and we do break those lows, then the idea that it's going to rally again kind of decreases in my mind. I mean, you could definitely have
If we
flat,
break out of that zigzag channel we talked about, absolutely.
Yeah, you start going down, and it's that an actual fifth of something that's going to get us out of the bear market faster. So it's ultimately a good thing, but it's going to be ugly and it's going to be scary. Like it's going to look real bad,
and it's going to empty my cash reserves.
We just came out of 4 months of ranging.
So whichever way it goes, unless it continues to range,
it broke down. Like I'm talking about on the macro from June to when we just broke down. That was 4 months of ranging. That's what you're saying.
Not this one.
No, this degree is
now this is just a few days comparatively.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is expanding to the downside. But technically, right now,
I've got the disclaimer up. So if we want,
Monty's playing us off with the disclaimer. So
all right, guys.
Thank you. I want to thank my manager,
more
and my family.
Yeah, I just golden globed you. So
this is what we do.
My mic, I think it's gone. I can't hear anything.
Next time we come on, we'll try to have more of a. We're gonna not get derailed.
No,
we'll talk about
we
assets.
are gonna get derailed.
We'll try to focus on
absolutely.
assets.
If you want to know about assets, ask in the channel. We'll give it.
That's why we're doing the weekly outlooks too, because they're just concise. And if that's what you want to see is concise, like actionable weekly outlooks, then that's your jam. But these live streams will go off on these little.
It's going to be stream of consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. It's chatter that
I'm going to use the wrong word all the time.
But the same thing is whenever you do get this like randomness, sometimes you'll find a gem. Like it'll come out every once in a while. So I feel like you got to listen.
Oh, I hate to say it, I guarantee the best. Our best content's probably in here. But yeah.
Oh, it's buried in 3 hour long live streams for about 10 minutes at a time, and I mean, so everybody watch all 3 hours. Remember that.
It's only an hour and 40 minutes right now. And actually we were late, so it's not even that bad, but
all right. And watch it on 1.5 speed if you need to.
We got
happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Have a happy Thanksgiving. You Europeans have a happy
If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, then you're not
probably
American.
European, and
I'm celebrating with some ribeye. No turkey, just ribeye.
I got some filet right now. I'm about to go make tonight.
Go USA in the World Cup, right? The best, footballers, is that what it is? Soccer? I don't know what it is.
Is that soccer? Soccer ball?
EA Sports.
Soccer. That's what it is.
No, it's a running simulator. It's just a running simulator.
Yeah. All right, close the stream.
Yeah, all right.
Turn it off.
Later, guys.
Shut it down.
All right, we're all muted. They can't hear us. It's fun, though. It's fun. No, they can. I've got it ixnayed. It can't go through, but I've just got a few more. I'm just letting it go through a little bit more, and then I'm ending it. Because if you do it too early, it cuts it off.